Hello, my name is Master Peter Brusso. What you're going to see is a series of DVDs that we're going to call Be Real. So many times martial arts or self-defense is taught with people who may or may not have been in combat before, who may or may not have had to protect themselves before. And if they had, it was probably because they were very well trained. The common person in the world, the yous and the I's, needs something that we can count on to protect ourselves and give the safety to our family that they need and deserve. The bad guys aren't supposed to win. So my philosophy is, when they come a-calling, give them the bad day. Each DVD that we're going to produce is going to be a cross-section, a sampling of the things that we believe from our experience that people need the most. Simple stuff. Simple works in your protection. Complex does not. Gross motor skills, the things that you know how to use now, are what we have to center on, coupled with a philosophy. Let me just take a second to tell you about that philosophy. If you were to boil all the martial arts down, put them all in one big pot, turn on the fire, boil them down, turn a little spigot on, what would come out? Two things come out. All philosophy is based on two things. One, if you stay in the volume where the technique started to work on you, chances are the technique will win. So the first thing you need to realize is we need to get out of the way. We need to change our volume. Our volume is not only physical, but it can be mental as well, but those are for later lessons. Right now, we're going to concentrate at don't stand there. Don't stay where the technique started. The second part of this philosophy is that if you allow your attacker to execute their program, then in fact the technique or whatever they're going to do to you has a chance of working. We have to make sure that we don't allow their program to be executed. We have to make sure that we interrupt their patterns. And then essentially we're in control of the confrontation, not them. So as you view these DVDs, and we hope to be quite a few series of DVDs, we're going to cover the simple stuff, as I said earlier. The simple hand grabs, the double hand grabs, the chokes, handgun disarms, knife disarms, and you get a chance to see that there's a universality. There is something, there's a thread between each thing. Most of it's the philosophy that you can see. Some of it is not. So, my wish to you is that you study hard, you practice hard. These are easy things to remember and do. Train your children, train your loved ones. And that way, at the end of the day, when the bad guy comes a-calling, you're going to give him the bad day. I'll catch you on the back side of the DVD and sum things up for you. Till then, enjoy yourself, study well. Carjack scenario, or attempted anyway. I'm trying to pay attention to some directions or try to find something, which is also, again, a very common thing. And lo and behold, Be Real Dave shows up with a knife. Now, normally, once we'd have gotten a hold of that knife, you could, rack the arm down onto the door, hyperextending the elbow. And as I'll mention a little later, having the window partially down at that moment could have worked as well. And off we go. The bad guy comes a-calling usually when we're not paying attention. And you're trying to get in the door or other things, taking care of babies. That's when they usually come. So we started to produce a few case studies like this for you to think about and techniques for you to gain. Now you get to introduce to you Paige Brusso. This is one of my daughters. Been training since she was 2.5. This technique, she's trying to get in the door, and the bad guy comes and grabs her. What she does is she raises her right arm up and over the top, and that pulls his hand off, but gets her, more importantly, in position with her keys to strike into his neck and push him away. Again, we'll see it here that she comes in, makes that turn, keeping her hand high like that. That takes his hand off her body, so to speak. But more importantly, also puts her in position to push him off with the key, and then with whatever she's got in the bag of groceries, canned goods, striking him in the head. Boom. Now in this case it was just a paper towel, because we don't want to kill off our talent here. Be Real Dave. He takes a beating as it is, but you can see how simple this is. Her attention is focused on the door, and as most of our attention would be too, trying to get in the door. And a guy comes up, grabs, and she's got to then defend herself. So instead of being a victim, she's going to turn the tables, reaching around like that, attacking that neck. In one case, she actually got him in the lip, and then simultaneously strikes him in the head with the groceries. It's a very effective technique. Swinging groceries in a plastic bag like that is very, very effective. As I mentioned earlier, the bad guy comes a calling when you're not looking. And this is certainly the case. What's important, too, to note is we have defenses for when people grab us from behind. Matter of fact, they're pretty easy. In this case, it's always an issue of raising your hand up over the top and capturing their arm, or getting in a good vector or a good position to strike from. Most important thing is, of course, clearing the angle of attack. That's the first law in weapons disarms. 2 is controlling the weapon. 3 is disarming. And 4 is neutralizing the attacker, which I choose to bonk him on top of the head here. It's also interesting to note, if you had an accidental discharge, the slide is going to move at about 300 miles an hour. Could cause some damage to your hand by grabbing up over the top, but it's interesting also to note that if you move that slide out of what they call out of battery, by even as much as a millimeter, it makes the weapon safe. A lot of people don't know that. So the fact that you're moving back will actually move that slide slightly and save that weapon. Welcome to Be Real 2. What you're going to learn is a continuation in a series of Be Real techniques, streetwise techniques, things that are simple, things that work. In this Be Real, you're going to get a chance to learn more about weapons disarms. You're going to also learn about your vehicle and how to handle an attack at your vehicle. Also, you'll get a chance to see front door attacks, people attacking a young lady on the way in her front door, and the types of Be Real techniques, still maintaining the philosophy of getting out of the place where the attack started, and then second, interrupting their program completely. Some of the simplest of things can really interrupt a person's program. The other added things you get to learn are some of the strikes. Many times self-defense educators spend way too much time in striking techniques, but you do have to have some rudimentary ability to strike. So in this Be Real, we're going to add some strikes for you that are simple, they're powerful, they work. You don't have to practice them a whole lot to get good at them. Simple handgun disarms. We're going to work on actually disabling the attacking arms of our opponents. They are the closest targets. You might as well take them. You have 2 bones in your forearm, and the ulna is the second easiest bone in the body to break, so you might as well learn how to disable that arm. I hope you enjoy. See you in the technique.